Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to our evening show. In this video, I want us to look at the reason why foreign dignitaries, foreign leaders are trooping into Kenya. From Japan, we saw the Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. Then we also saw the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Again, we saw the IMF director. We also saw the World Trade Organization director also visiting the country. We also saw Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister and even the German Chancellor has also visited the country. His name is Olaf, something like that. And today, William Samoei Ruto also hosted the Prime Minister of Singapore. And this one caught me thinking and asking many questions. What is attracting the foreign dignitaries in Kenya? Why are they trooping to Kenya? Why at this time? And after a clear analysis of the reasons why they are coming, I came up with the following. That number one, William Samoei Ruto has been inviting these leaders because of legitimacy questions. For all those who follow this channel, mnajua vizuri sana uchaguzi ambao ulifanywa 2022 haukuwa wa haki na ni uchaguzi ambao ulizua maswali na mzozo mkubwa. Mpaka sasa, Azimio has not recognized William Samoei Ruto as the President of the Republic of Kenya. We have not seen Raila Amolo Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, and others mentioning or referring to William Samoei Ruto as the President. Indeed, they refer to him as Mr. Ruto. So the question of legitimacy is the one that is making William Samoei Ruto to invite them. You know, when they come, Wakija, they are going to give him legitimacy, recognition by the world leaders. Is very, ndio sababu unaona wale ambao wanaitwa, wale ambao wanakuja hapa ni viongozi watajika wa mataifa makubwa. Now, this is no coincidence. The second reason, in my view, why they are trooping to Kenya is because of business interest. Unajua wazungu kile ambacho wanaweza kufanya, hawezi kufanya lolote ambalo haliwafaidi. Indeed, they are looking for businesses to do with Kenya. They are looking for business deals. And this one normally happens with a change of regime. Kwa sababu any regime that comes will come with different interests, will come with different friends and many things. The other reason why they are trooping is because of oil. There is the idea that in Turkana, we have enough oil to export to other countries. Indeed, most of the oil and other natural resources in Kenya have not been exploited. Na hili ni jambo ambalo watu wanajua, wazungu wanajua. So they are coming to harvest our minerals. Indeed, we have a lot of minerals in Kenya, including and not limited to gold. We have gold in Kakamega. We have soda ash in Lake Magabi. We have a lot of minerals. Na kile ambacho tunajua ni kwamba wakati wanakuja hapa, wanakuja kupora, kuangalia namna ambavyo wanaweza kupora katika nchi yetu tukufu, kwa sababu wanajua kwamba nchi ya Kenya ni nchi iliyo na rasilimali nyingi sana, which has not been exploited. Again, the issue of China is also playing a major role. When William Samoei Ruto took over the reign of leadership, kile ambacho alisema ni kwamba ukiangalia utaona kwamba sera zake zinahusiana na Marekani na bara Europa. He actually moved towards the West and forgot China. Na unapoangalia utaona kwamba now what happened is that when it comes to funding, when it comes to loans, that comes to a lot of interest. And you see a lot of competition in Africa between Kenya, Europe, and America. And you see during Uhuru Kenyatta's time and Moi Kibaki, those two leaders were leaning heavily towards China. And most of the roads construction that you have seen in this country have been done by China. And now that William Samoei Ruto seems to give China a cold shoulder, that is why you see countries like Britain and Japan wakija hapa na kuja kuona kana kwamba unaweza kuchukua fursa ambayo ilikuwa pale ya China. Again, I believe there is also the issue of 22 elections. I believe that Kenya Kwanza government was installed by foreigners. I believe that when you look at Kenya, by the way, and I'm going to give this video an analysis. When you look at Uhuru Kenyatta, during the last 2 weeks, especially during the elections, it looked like he was not in control. Uhuru Kenyatta looked like he was not in control of the government. It looked like the international deep state was in charge of this country. One day, I'll be proved right. There is no way Uhuru Kenyatta could have allowed William Samoei Ruto to take over the reign of this country. There is no way. I believe that the international deep states outwitted the Kenya national, the Kenya nation deep state. And ukiangalia utaona kwamba si jambo rahisi. Na ukiangalia vizuri sana utaona kwamba hawa ni watu ambao walimshinda Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Hawa ni watu ambao walishinda the deep state and the system of this republic. And that is why I believe these people are coming to Kenya. Wanakuja kuangalia. Unajua mtu akilima shamba lazima aende angalie lile shamba ambalo alikuwa analima, matunda yake namna gani ama malipo yake namna gani. That is why I believe they are trooping. I could be right, I could be wrong. But one day I will be proved right that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was not fully in charge of this country in the last 2 weeks to the elections, and even during the elections, and even especially when the votes were being counted. And that is why you saw the American embassy ambassador alikuja ambaye alikuwa anatangaza anasema mchuge Kisumu kutatokea maandamano, kutatokea nini. How did he know this? How? And when you look at it, he was even telling the foreigners to move away from Kisumu, to take caution, to be very cautious when in Kisumu. Kama unavyoona, I believe that is why they are trooping to Kenya. The other thing is that maybe William Samoei Ruto is looking for advice. You know, he's very green. And again, when you look at William Samoei Ruto, unaona vizuri sana, he cannot compete with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's tentacles and Raila Amolo Odinga in the international circles are all over. And William Samoei Ruto is now skipping the rope. He's running to skip the rope, but he's running very fast, truth be told. He's trying, and he's running very fast. And what we have seen is that the international community seems to be listening to him. The international community seems to be favoring him. And again, the other reason why they are coming is because of maandamano, truth be told. I believe the silence, which is very uncomfortable if you ask me. There is a loud silence. Something is cooking between Raila Amolo Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. And that silence is not good for the Azimio, if you ask me. Because it is eating into Azimio's popularity. It is eating into Azimio's game plan. It is destroying Azimio game plan. Kwa hivyo kile ambacho Azimio wanafaa kufanya ni kwamba wanafaa waelewe ya kwamba even these bipartisan talks is just a matter of buying time. And I want to repeat here again that Kenya Kwanza is not serious with this bipartisan talk. Kwa hivyo wakati unaona hao wakija, lazima kuna mikakati ya kujaribu kuwaleta hao pamoja. And not forgetting that Kenya is strategically placed. Again, for those of you who follows the politics of Africa, jana muliona William Samoei Ruto in Pan-African Parliament in South Africa, he gave a moving speech. Indeed, he was given a standing ovation by the parliamentarians. Not once, not twice, not thrice. And he was attacking the West. He was attacking the United Nations. And he was saying that the United Nations need to add the permanent members and Africa should have 5 members. He went ahead and said that there is no way that Africans, leaders, presidents are going to troop to America and Europe to go to listen to one person. And the only thing that they get is only photo session. And he said that for those presidents who refuse to go, they are usually threatened. So when you look at this, you realize that William Samoei Ruto is in Africa. Truth be told, unajua tuseme ukweli, mgala muwe na haki mpe. William Samoei Ruto is very eloquent. William Samoei Ruto is a good orator. And it is this oratory skills, it is this eloquence that wooed many Kenyans. That is how he was able to gain popularity in Kenya. Kwa sababu ya yale maneno matamu kama vile Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta alivyokuwa anasema maneno matamu ambayo inamtoa nyoka pagoni, and that's why I've always said that he could have been a very good preacher. So the fact that he's becoming a rising star in Africa could be attracting the Western nations. Waje wasikilize, wamuone atasema nini, waone atafanya nini, kwa sababu they want to influence, because if he becoming a rising star, for them to influence Africa, they have to come through William Samoei Ruto. Because if the peers are listening to him, then he's the man to use. And I believe I'll also give the dangers of this kind of approach by William Samoei Ruto. Because if you ask me, he's a threat to the interests of the Western nation. That speech, if you ask me, is one that needs to be discussed in another video. The other reason why I believe they are trooping to Africa is because when you look at Kenya has accepted to sell, to buy, to consume GMO. That's a fact. You remember, immediately that William Samoei Ruto was sworn in, we saw Bill Gates akija haraka sana kuja kutafuta soko la mahidi, akija kutafuta soko la dawa. Pharmaceutical companies that are controlled by Bill Gates are the ones that made him to come to Africa, are the ones that made him to come to Kenya, specifically Kenya, especially after the new regime came in. Kwa sababu ukikumbuka vizuri sana, the government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has completely banned GMO in Kenya. But when William Samoei Ruto came, he started convincing Kenyans and telling Kenyans that he himself has been eating GMO. That is what he said. And when you look at this, if you listen to him, you would agree with me that what he was doing, was marketing GMO. So I think they are coming to Kenya to get the market for their produce, for their farm produce. Again, it could be just a PR, public relation exercise. Public relation exercise because as a new president in Africa, he needs to assert himself. He needs to have good relations with those countries. Otherwise, if he doesn't, I believe other countries are going to occupy the space. And again, when you look at William Samoei Ruto, he's talking, he's very candid and very particular about green energy and the climate change. He has been talking about this, and this I think is of interest to those countries. Is of very much interest because what we are having now, we know that we are destroying the ozone layer. That's a fact. We know that we are destroying our climate. We know that kuna hizi mijadala ambayo imekuwa ikiendelea ambapo mataifa mbalimbali yanataka tuwe tunazungumzia hali ya kubadilika kwa hewa, kwa kubadilika kwa hali ya anga. And William Samoei Ruto is coming out as a champion. And through his oratory skills, I believe this country want to use him when it comes to negotiating with Africa. Because you see, when you look at Africa, you realize that Africa is taking a stand as far as green energy is concerned, as far as climate change is concerned. There's other things that are making these countries or these leaders to troop in Kenya. Kwa sababu ukiangalia hao viongozi ni viongozi tajika. These are not just your ordinary visitors coming to Kenya. And William Samoei Ruto has been basking in the glory of these leaders. I don't know what you think, but if you ask me, wazungu wanakuja hapa kujinufaisha wenyewe, sio kunufaisha wa Afrika. Hakuna wakati, hakuna hata siku moja utaona mzungu akifanya jambo lolote kunufaisha Mwafrika. Anajifanya hivi, anafanya lolote ambalo anafanya ni kwa manufaa yake mwenyewe. Mie ni wenu Rashis Kaman. Kindly remember to like this video and may you have a blessed evening. Bye bye.